The Z to Z Podcast.
Good morning, good evening, or good day, and welcome to the Z to Z Podcast, the home for Xbox achievement hunters and gamerscore junkies. I'm your host, Brandon Freeman. Thank you so much for listening. At Z to Z, we love gaming and in particular, grabbing achievements and gaining gamerscore. We do news, reviews, and interviews. It's about achievements. We'll unlock it. You can find show notes for this show as well as previous shows on our website, z2z.com. This is episode 136. You can also contact us with questions or comments over at Twitter, at ZZZEDTOZED, over our forums, forum.z2z.com, or email us directly, contact@z2z.com. So it's a three-man show. I'm joined, of course, with Peru. How are you doing, Peru?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
I am doing great. And we're bringing back Koosh Moose. How are you doing, Koosh?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
Fantastic as well. Good. Well, so, I wasn't supposed to record this weekend, so we're a little bit later, but I'm really interested in, I was down out of town this weekend celebrating I guess she's my grandmother-in-law, right? My wife's grandmother's 95th birthday.
Oof.
Yeah, that's a doozy.
That's a milestone.
Yeah, she is a Spitfire still. Totally with it still. So, I don't know how long she's got left, but I'm not expecting anything soon, so I think we'll be doing 96, 97. My niece she's gonna have her first baby in September, I think, is when they're due. Maybe it's October. But that will be 5 generations in that we have alive at one point, and that just blows my mind. Now, I guess it's not as much now that I know of 30-year-old grandmothers, which is a very sad state of affairs, but that exists. But I just think, traditionally you don't have that many generations in one go. But this is a video game show, so we should talk about video games. Let's see. I don't even know who played the most stuff this week, but I know what we want to end on, and I don't think Prue's played it, so we're gonna let
you're gonna make me feel like the odd man out this week, huh?
We're gonna make Prue go first.
Oh man, we could talk about it right up front, and I could be like, I saw the trailer, but no, okay, we'll save it. That's fine. I'll talk about some other stuff first, and then maybe I'll take a break and take a nap while you guys talk
get
about
a cup of coffee or something.
Yeah. Well, no, not coffee, because I'm not a coffee drinker, but I'll find something. So I'll talk a little bit about some of the games I played this past week. You know what I played last night?
What's that?
The Little Acre.
Oh, yeah.
Have you played this?
My list. That's on my list to do. Oh, because I just started it up and got the quick dive achievement for looking at a hint.
Yeah.
And then I have to restart the game because there's achievement for not doing any of that.
Yeah, that was actually my last achievement because I was following the guide.
Yeah.
So, and you're supposed to run through without any hints or anything like that. But The Little Acre is a traditional point-and-click game in the style of, the old classics, Secret of Monkey Island and that sort of stuff. But the presentation is where it's at with that game. It's hand-drawn animation sort of stuff. It looks like kind of classic, I don't know, 80s, 70s, 80s sort of animation.
It's like a Dragon's Lair?
Yeah, Dragon's Lair.
Kind of like a Dragon's Lair, yeah. It would look like, yeah. So the animation is really solid. And
it's smooth.
It's quirky and charming. I don't like those classic point-and-click games just because of how ridiculous and obscure their solutions were.
Yeah, they get a little wacky.
But I followed a guide the whole game, but the game there's a speedrun achievement for beating the game in under an hour. So there's no hunting for crazy ridiculous solutions in this game. It's not like combine two things there's a tiny bit of that, but it's not like it is in most of the other classic ones.
Yeah.
But I think the charm of the game really, even with a guide, I really enjoyed just the sort of personality it had, and it was fun. It was fun for a little hour experience. Even with a guide, and I had a lot of fun with it. It was cool.
Did you ever play, back in the day, the Willy Beamish? The Adventures of Willy Beamish?
No, I don't think I've ever even heard of it.
That's exactly like one of those types of old school point and clicks. And the only reason I remember it is because it has that art style, and it's this little kid or whatever. But he always whenever you went to because at that time you didn't know what you were clicking on, like nothing highlighted or anything, so you're just kind of just jamming the mouse button as you scrolled around. And every time you clicked on something he didn't want to use or do anything with, the narrator would say, "Willie Beamish doesn't want to play touchy-feely with that."
No, I've never even heard of that.
It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, they didn't have that for the Apple or the Mac back then. I remember being very PC jealous, just seeing that game and wanting to play it.
Willie Beamish? That's funny. Yeah, I only saw it like at a friend's house who, like, I remember, he's like, "Oh man, I got my new 486 rig." Of course, rig wasn't even a word back then, but yeah, my 486 is so fast. And I remember seeing it, and I'm like, "This is lightning speed." Like, it was just amazing. Look, I can't get any better than this. And I went back to my old Gateway 386 or whatever, and I was like, "Oh, Instant Messenger doesn't even work."
Oh man, do you remember the boxes that the gateways used to come in?
Oh, I used mine as a desk in college for the longest time.
Did you really?
Because it was so big. It was like a perfect size to just rest at the end of my bed. Yeah, I used it like as a giant trunk. I was just looking at Mike Micah. He's the guy who did iDarb. It's kind of funny we're talking about this nostalgia wise, but he tweeted and he said he had his son was playing Xbox. He said, I overheard my son on Xbox Live saying we have really bad Wi-Fi, and that's why the game is loading so long. And he said, well, I interject. Number one, it has nothing to do with load time. Number two, the Xbox is connected to Ethernet. It's not even Wi-Fi. And then he finishes by saying, he mutes me and rages on me. What did I say? What the hell? Kids, right?
That's funny.
I thought that was kind of funny. Yeah, they don't know how bad we got it. Because my son was doing the same thing today. We went raiding, a little Pokemon Go raiding. And
nice.
He took my sister-in-law's phone, and I went, and then my nephew, and the three of us went to go do a Registeel raid, and we just got smoked. But like, he couldn't get into the battle, and he was like yelling at his phone. He's like, I'm stuck on this load screen. This sucks. I can't do anything. I don't know why it's not working. I'm like, what? Just quit hammering on it. I'm gonna shut down the whole thing. I'm gonna reboot the whole. And I'm like, whoa, settle down, man. We're in like middle of nowhere, Minnesota. Like, it probably is a bad cell phone connection. Like, that's just, they...
Wait a minute, Freem, you're still actively playing Pokemon Go?
Yeah, for the most part.
Well, why aren't we friends then? And you should be sending me gifts and stuff.
I will. I only have like a few. Fufu's my friend.
Well, I'm also friends with Foof.
Me and the cuddly Poof.
Yeah. I posted my thing on Twitter when it first came out, but yeah, we'll have to match up and become buds.
I'll type it in, I'll type it in my little... The Discord.
Was it just you and your son that you were trying to do
There's
the
three
legendary?
of us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's three of us, and so I thought, because my nephew and I have pretty high level fire types, and so I thought, okay, well, just throw in whatever fire types he happens to have, that we might be okay. It was not good.
It's tricky because like I play with my girlfriend and we can do up to level 3 raids.
Yeah.
Anything beyond that, not even close. And we don't have anybody else really to play with. So once you get up to legendary tier, it's real tough. You definitely have to have a full party to have any hopes of. But that's neither here nor there, I suppose.
Nope. So yeah. Anyway, Little Acre. So it is actually like 1 hour. It
literally is. If you follow a guide.
Yeah.
You follow the guide precisely, and you don't leave it idling at all, because I think it's a pretty close 1 hour guide. You can get it done in one go, which I did.
Okay.
So, and I think, was it Games with Gold? I don't think it was Games with Gold. Maybe I bought it.
No, but it was like I think like it was as low as like $3.
It's been on sale
$25
several
at one
times,
point.
Yeah.
Because it keeps showing up on my random to-do list, and I'm like, do I want to spend a Saturday night and just rip through that? And like, no, I'd rather play something else.
Now, good. Were they going to have sequels to that? I seem to remember them.
I also thought like it was because it was like a book, kind of like this would be a chapter of this story, and that they'd kind of have other stories involving these characters. Mm-hmm. I also thought that was the case, but
I didn't get that sense from the story. Like, they didn't leave it on a cliffhanger or anything like that. Okay. But you could definitely see them expanding it or making a sequel or something like that. But it wasn't like, find out what happens in episode 2, like that sort of thing. So,
Right, no cliffhangers.
yeah. But it's definitely a cute little game and worth an hour, or if you mess up, the 2 hours that you'd have to play it to get the speedrun achievement. But if you're following a guide, I think it'd be fine. The TI guide was actually fantastic. It listed everything exactly how you were supposed to do it. So, let me think. What else did I do that was interesting? I played Up, Pixar's Up.
Oh, a little Disney action?
The old school 360 game, and I finished it in a night, which I was surprised. I thought it was going to be a little bit longer than it was. And it was, I mean, the movie is fantastic, and the game was pretty charming. Simple platformer puzzle game, but it was good. It was good.
I really miss.
What's the time when you say it's like it's like you did it one night? What's the? I thought it was like a 6-8 hour game.
I thought that's what it was going to be too, and I guess I may have ended up, but I don't think it was. I think I probably started it at like 4 in the afternoon and finished by like 9 or 10. And that's not like, I mean, this is talking breaks for taking the dog out and just hanging out and eating dinner, and like it wasn't like an intense session or anything like that. It was just an evening of playing when I was playing.
And what type of game is it? It's a platformer?
It's like a platformer, 3D action game. Pick up the collectibles and punch the bad guys in the face, and it's very simple. There's not much to it.
Not too grindy?
No, not at all. Especially another one where it's like if you read what's expected of you up front, you can do most of the grind while you're actually just playing through the game.
Oh, sure.
I think after I beat the game, I had about 20 minutes of cleanup to do. Everything else was done within the playthrough. So it was quite simple, quite easy.
Interesting. You said you used a guide?
Yeah, I used a guide, but I really wouldn't have to. If you looked at the guide okay, do this,
yeah,
punch all the crates and collect all the bugs, and if you knew what you had to do beforehand, you could play right through it. And if you missed some of the collectibles, you could just hop right in those chapters and pick them up right away. Like, it's not hard.
Yeah, sure.
So what would be your favorite game, this is just off the cuff, that was, from a movie? So like a movie to a game transition. They don't really do them anymore. I mean, Hotel Transylvania 3, I think, is the most recent one, and it's been maybe years since we've seen another one. What would you say is up there for you?
Oh man, that's a good question. The first thing that popped into my head was Brave.
Yeah, that was good. I really like that.
I really enjoyed Brave, but I mean, besides going beyond like 360 and Xbox, like GoldenEye would certainly be my number one.
Classic.
In the recent memory that I have, I would say Brave. I really enjoyed that game. I thought it was really, really solid, and it was Games with Gold a few months back. So that's what I would put at least that I have in my mind right now.
Yeah, no, I sprung that on you. Sorry. I mean,
no, that's fine.
Like, for me, Wolverine. That Wolverine game had no right, and I know you love it. It had no right being as good as it was. Being from the movie that it came from.
Yes.
With the exception of the end boss that never happened. That game was fantastic.
I can't even think of like a game movie that I played that I really enjoyed. Because it's just nothing. Because again, to me, they were all like so throwaway. And I think the times that brought me the most joy is I was just a little kid playing a game, and it's just because I enjoyed the licensed property and I didn't know any better. Where it was like, oh yeah, this is great. Look, the X-Men, or I'm playing with Captain America, or like even like one of those like Tiger handhelds or whatever. Just to be just something so stupid. It's not even a game per se. Because then you have those new things that kind of like blur the line where it's like, okay, so like those Spider-Man games, okay, they're not really movie tie-ins, but they're also not. I mean,
don't bring up Spider-Man right now. It's a sore subject.
I can't wait. I can't wait to not talk about that.
You have a PlayStation, I was gonna say.
I can't wait to not talk about that. It's gonna be amazing.
Oh wait, have you played it?
No, it's not out yet. It's out, I think, next month.
Is it? Why did I think it was out already? No. Anyway, so yeah, that's a good question, and that's tough. I'll have to think about that because I'm sure I'm missing like a really obvious one, and I'll come back and
okay, yeah,
I'll think about it. But You know what else? What else happened? And I'll bring this up real quick, and then you guys, we'll move on. Actually, two things, real quick. I played through Fearful Symmetry and the Cursed something.
Oh yeah, that was just on sale.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was on sale for $2, and one of those. It's a game like what's the Cubot, I think, where like you looked at the guide and it lists the controller inputs.
Yep.
It's another one of those games. So for $2, it was totally worth it. Also, it was a nice little game too. The art style and the silly little story they had. It was good. It was good for a 2-hour game. And of course, G-Task is getting pretty intense.
I
think
you're still in. That's great.
Yeah. Me and Mango are still going, and we were at 13.5 or something like that. At the end of the quarter, or the end of the period last week. Well, I guess this week. And it was Wednesday morning. And I'm like, man, we're only like 800 TA ahead. Like, I'm getting real nervous. And so I popped in one of my unused stacks of Minecraft. So I got to play some Minecraft iOS, which is very different from the other versions of Minecraft, let me tell you. No, it's not. It's exactly the same thing. But so I played a bunch of Minecraft as well this week. So some other stuff as well, but nothing really super interesting. So that was it for me.
Does Goosebumps the game count? Because it's kind of like a movie prequel.
Does it have Jack Black in it?
No.
So how is it?
Although I think you call him.
Did you see the actual movie?
Yes.
Is it tied into that story at all?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
It's like, so the game takes place before Jack Black, who's R.L. Stine, moves to the new town. So, like, all the things that happen in the game here are, like, they're like, these are all the bad things that happen in this town, and that's why he moves to this new town where the movie takes place.
Are they still working on that second one? Are they?
Yeah, did you see the trailer?
Oh, no, they came out with a trailer?
They came out with a trailer. Goosebumps 2, Haunted Halloween? Halloween Mansion? Halloween? I think it's Haunted Halloween.
Is Jack Black in it again?
Okay, so he wasn't in the trailer.
Okay.
But he's still the voice of
Slappy.
Slappy.
Yeah.
And it's new kids. It's that same house. Like, and they show all this in the trailer, so I don't know what they're holding back, because it's like these kids, and I like that they pick like loser looking kids. Like, I appreciate that, because like the one kid is like super chunky. Like, and he looks like some kid who, would be really ostracized. Not like, the one kid they had in the first movie who's like, okay, yeah, he's a handsome, like, actor dude. These are, like, two kids who, like Stranger Things, right? They just look like normal kids. So these two dudes, they come up to this house, and it's, like, all looks haunted. It's all burnt to, charred and old and dusty and all this stuff. And they find this chest behind the fireplace, and inside is one of those books that opens up.
Yeah.
It's never supposed to be opened. And,
Gotcha.
Lots of CGI. Lots of the monsters come out. The Yeti of Pasadena is in there. What else? Just a bunch of that stuff. And again, Slappy's at the front end. So I didn't see any of the. Now that's not to say that there wouldn't be cameos, but it looks like it's a separate story that's not related to the Jack Black R.L. Stine character.
Goosebumps. That movie was good. That was a good little movie.
I agree.
Fun.
My kids love it.
Now, I'm a little bit older than you guys, so I'm just thinking, was Goosebumps something from your childhood, or is this something you picked up from relatives or your children?
I think I was prime Goosebumps, but I only read like 2 or 3 of the books. Like, I remember them being really popular, and people collected them and stuff. I think I was in like 3rd or 4th grade. I think I was right, kind of exactly where you should be for like a Goosebumps fan. But I read 2 or 3 of them. They were okay. And then I remember the TV show coming out, which wasn't great. But I kind of still have a fondness for them, even though I was never a fan. So, but I also don't feel strongly, and I don't have any real memories of it. Like, it's such a wide variety of an anthology series that if you've read one book, it's totally different from any of the other books that you didn't read or read. But So I went and saw the movie just because I heard it was pretty decent, and I had a good time.
See, I would love.
I'm with you, Kush. I'm too old.
Okay,
So
but yeah, you
I
just seem
missed it as
excited
well.
about it though. It's like,
Well, because I have kids,
Okay.
and so like my son is prime Goosebumps age right now,
okay.
and so like I enjoy reading the books to him and kind of like, oh, what do you think's gonna happen? And ooh, and like I get to do voices and be scary about it and stuff. And so like,
So are these new books, or are they just the classic? Like
the classics?
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I would love an Encyclopedia Brown game. Like that would be prime, like point and click.
That's your thing.
Oh, that'd be awesome. I loved Encyclopedia Brown when I was growing up.
Yeah. My kids, the new one is Magic Treehouse
Oh, okay.
right now, and it's very similar to that, where it's like, although they like their Magic Treehouse travels to different times, so they'll be in the French Revolution or ancient Egypt, or and they time travel like an Animus. They're not assassinating anyone, but they are getting into hijinks as kids.
Sounds like Magic School Bus or something.
Kind
It
of,
sounds like
except
Magic
it's-
School Bus with Doctor Who mixed in there.
It's probably more Doctor Who. It's way less educational. It's very much.
Oh, okay.
Oh, good for them.
I mean, they'll throw that in there, like, oh, here is Cleopatra. She's important in this, but it's not like you're not learning anything. No. I think I found another movie game, Hannah Montana the movie.
I just bought that.
I-
I think who was it? Who was it that was streaming that? It was
Pluto.
Pluto.
Professor Pluto.
Professor
Yeah.
Pluto. He had a stream where he used that for his 400. I think it was 400.
No, 5? Was it 5?
It was 400 or 500. Whatever it was, it was enormous. And just like I love the fact that he was playing these games, and I was like, all right,
Yeah.
I've got to go get it. So
He did Barbie's Puppy Rescue.
I got that, yep.
He did, yeah.
as a result of hearing about games like that, I've picked them up. I have not played them. I'm looking forward to doing them at some point.
That's funny. That's awesome. Cool. Yes. So there we go. Goosebumps 2. Anything else, Prue, that you wanna touch on?
Nah, I finished up Walking Dead. I finished up all the U-Draw stuff that I talked about last week.
Yeah.
Nothing else really. Nope,
You know what
I'm
I
good.
finished this week that I was really happy with?
Oh yeah, let's hear about this.
Yeah. Fallout Shelter is finally done.
Did you find a trick or
Well, I used
exploit?
the time trick. Yeah. So like, what? So Walk Appeal said had a suggestion. So I only had 3 things left to do, and it was the Raiders and the Dwellers. And what the hell was the other one?
Legendary gear or
No, I had all that one. The last one was the room rushes, which I could just do. So I essentially had the last 2. And I was like, okay, well, how do I get Raider tax? And so the suggestion to go below 60 totally worked, and I had those happen pretty quick. And then it was to the point where everyone I had talked to said it's going to be like 400 to 500 lunchboxes to get your 20 Dwellers, because you get the 3 from the normal game, and so you need 17. And the spawn rate is so low that that's just where it ends up going. So it was 493 lunchboxes is where I ended. I started my grind at 120. So it's super easy on your computer to do the trick and actually prove, like, so if you don't want to actually play the game, like, the completion's going to suck, but it's not that bad if you just do this lunchbox thing right away. Because you can overload your, when you open all the lunchbox stuff, you get all the money from having Happy Dwellers, you get all the loot that is in the lunchboxes, and so, like, you will be able to start the game at a huge advantage if you go straight for the Legendary Dwellers. It would be meaningless to even play the game, and it's just like, you're just kind of checking off boxes as you go through each achievement, but it would be the fastest.
So you're saying whatever trick that you're talking about, you're saying do that like as soon as I load up the game, go for this trick until I get the legendary achievement, and then just get the rest of the stuff because it's
pretty
easy at that
much.
point.
That would
Okay.
be the absolute fastest way to do it. It would also be the least enjoyable.
yeah.
Okay.
Sounded like
it's
you-
literally just data management at that point.
How much time are we talking? Like, is it like 4 hours versus 40, or is it like if it's only going to save me a few hours, that's fine. But if it's going to save me a significant chunk of time, maybe I'd consider it.
Well, so again, it comes down to how you enjoy the game. So for me, like, I would play the game probably an hour a day spread out over 16 hours. Like, I would come in for 5 minutes, I'd leave, do work, I'd come back for 5 minutes, check everything, move some guys around, maybe do a mission, because everything's time gated. And so you don't have to, so you're not rushing anything. You're not doing any of that sort of stuff. You just play through the game as it's intended, as a time-gated, free-to-play game. So what would end up happening then is you would have no restrictions on really building any of your buildings, because you'd have a ton of money that you normally wouldn't have. You'd have way more equipment and gear that you normally wouldn't have, because you have to go out and find those or craft those, but you'd be getting them from the cards. So you'd be again, it's a pay-to-win situation. In this instance, if you were just to do the time trick, and really what the time trick is I just use it's kind of annoying on the laptop. It'd be way easier with a mouse, but I had a touchpad with the click here, and because my one wrist was starting to hurt because I was doing it so much, I would just do my clicking with one and sliding with the other, and I had them on split screens. So left side was my settings tab, and right side was the game. And you load up the game, go to settings tab. You turn off automatic timing. Then you scroll the date forward 1 week. The game reloads itself, and it pops up the daily challenge. You just click on all 7 boxes, and you have a lunchbox. And then you close that window out. You go over to the other side. Change, automatic, back on. Turn it off. Change the clock 7 days ahead. Boom, there it is again. You got another lunchbox plus, $700. And you keep doing that. So I ended up with probably an extra $300,000, tons and tons of gear. Like I since I had shut down my vault, I didn't have any space left, and just because they keep piling on through your cards, you can overfill your vaults with. You can't get more people in, but all your storage rooms can get overfilled. So like, it would be totally pointless. It's still going to take you a decent amount of time. Because, for me to get these we were watching, I was just watching TV doing it. And so you can, if you're quick with a mouse, you can probably get one lunchbox in, 20 to 30 seconds. So, you're still talking probably, so what, it's for 500 lunchboxes so 250 minutes. So 4 hours of just straight manipulating time. I think that's a significant amount of time. But if you're watching a couple of movies or whatever, and just doing it in the background, it's not a big deal. It's just an annoying grind. But it's done. I finished. I don't have to play that anymore. That's great. So I'm super happy about that. I also played a little bit of Boss 101 this week. This was Monday night because I was waiting for another game to go live. So I played, I beat like 4 more levels. Finished up Jolly Roger. Level 10, so it's a third of the way through the game there. And I also last weekend completed Owlboy, like I said I was going to. And I got on the horn with Koosh there, and I was like, you gotta work through this story, man. I got some questions, and you are no help, Koosh.
I know I was no help. I fully realized that.
But it was good. I really liked it. It's not really a difficult completion. The 10 hours I was 10 hours and 1 minute for me to get it, and I very much enjoyed it. So I highly recommend it, like I did before. Did you have a question, Prue?
You on getting it done.
Thank you. So that's 2 completions this week, which is great. And then I just had one other game. But before we get there, I want to hear what Koosh has been doing other than, because I know we've both been playing the same game. Did you play anything besides this?
I did. I would really quickly like to go back to the Fallout Shelter and just add a few things. Number one, I think there's a batch file floating around out there that you can use. That's right. Yeah, it'll set your time for you. So you basically have to do one thing, which is turn off the auto time, and then you can use the batch file. You just run that, and it'll automatically move the clock forward for you. So you don't have to do all that manipulation. You just have to double click the .bat. As always, be careful. If you're using a batch file that someone gives to you, you may want to just look at it, make sure it's not doing fdisk, something like that. But yeah, So I would recommend doing that. I would also recommend, if you're going to do this, one of the things you could do is put your dwellers into like classrooms or the weight room or the school while you're doing the manipulation, because then they'll level up and you'll get their stats completely maxed out, and then you switch them to a next room. Then when you're ready to play the game, you have dwellers with, full stats across the board. So you could do that grind at the beginning, get all your resources, and then just play the game for fun to do all the missions and such. You can still do that. That's one way you could kind of maybe mix and match the two methods. Just my thoughts on Fallout Shelter, because I did go back and look at that after you'd been talking about it, Freem, and I think I popped one achievement, and everything else I had left is super grindy. So maybe I'll start going with that. But so what I've been doing, this is the Metroidvania month. So I had been going through and looking at Metroidvanias that I kind of just want to get back to and kind of pick away at while killing time waiting for the game that we will be talking about in a little bit to come out. So I played a little bit of Forma 8. I was going to go in there and I was going to do that as an F for the Gamertag Challenge.
Oh, how did you like that?
I played it. I stopped playing it at some point, and then when you reviewed it, I know where you started talking about it, Prue. I know that you were farther ahead than I was. And I know you did not like the game that much. When I was playing it, I just kept getting flashbacks to Insanely Twisted Shadow Planet. Like the environment, some of the boss fights, some of the mechanics for those were very similar. So I kind of it was weird because I basically fired them both up. I wanted to play them about the same time, but I enjoy the game.
Insanely Twisted, and Forma 8,
and Forma 8, they're very similar. You're flying around and you have these powers that you can do, and but I enjoy Forma 8. I still think I'm not as far as you. I have 23% completion in the game right now, and I'm enjoying it. I will definitely go back to it. We had a minor victory on the True Achievements site. Headlander was not marked as a Metroidvania when I feel strongly that it's definitely Metroidvania when you play it, and so basically learned about the genre system and how to request a change or discrepancy, and so worked through that with Shin's help, and basically got that switched over to a Metroidvania. And if there's time in the month, maybe I'll try to get a little bit more progress in that game. Let's see. So what have I done that's super exciting? I've been chipping away at Rayman Legends 360. Love that game. Until I get to those frustrating points, I'm like, I hate this game, and then I get past that point, and I'm like, I love this game again. So it's definitely a love-hate relationship with Rayman Legends, and it's all the older stuff, right? It's the Origins levels that they give the most trouble, and I don't want to play them again, so I just take them real slow per level. I don't have to play them like 3 times, so I just take my time cruising through those. But I'm enjoying that. A completion that I'm kind of proud of, I guess, or basically worked hard on with Matism. We both got Deformers done under the line. I think it shut down on the 9th, so just 2 days ago or a few days ago. And he had a copy, I had a copy. Actually, he had one of my spare copies. I sent it to him because I was going to do it, but there's a problem with Deformers in that it doesn't run on the X. And as far as I know, it's the only game that doesn't run on the X, but will run on the S or the OG X1.
That's interesting.
Yes, it's
super weird.
It's very fun.
What happened there?
Yeah, I don't know. I picked up my second copy. I was ready to dual box it, and then I saw someone mention, but it doesn't run on the X. And I was like, well, that's horrible because that's my situation. I have an X and I have the original X1. So I basically just bought a copy for no reason. So talked with Matism about that, and he's like, well, I'd play it. I was like, well, I guess I'm sending it to you. So I mailed it off to him, and we've just been chipping away at it for a while. And over the course of a couple nights, and got the easy stuff out of the way, but then there were some really grindy achievements for getting prestige level up to gold. So first you work your way up to silver, and then you basically do that again to get up to gold, and also to get to level 20. And the way it worked out is basically you jump into a lobby, you get 2 people with 2 controllers or 2 accounts each, And what we had been doing is Mattism was driving his main and his secondary, and I was driving my main and my secondary, and we were doing that for a good bit, a couple nights, 2 nights, and we'd gotten some progress. And then somewhere along the line we realized, oh, you know what? If one of us visited the other and we were in the same room, we wouldn't have to be switching off wins and losses. We could just have one team just do all the wins. And that essentially cuts our time in half. And we figured that out on the last night. So we started doing that, and we blitzed through it. Kudos to him for staying up late. I know he was up maybe an extra hour or an hour and a half after he wanted to go to bed. And we got it done, and we slammed it out. And it happened to be on the same night that the game we're going to talk about came out. And it released. Let's see. Should we just jump into it, Freem?
Let's do it.
Okay, so Dead Cells came out this week, and I was very excited about it. And it released on the night that we finished Deformers at, I want to say, 3 a.m. Eastern Time. And we were done playing Deformers around 2 or 2:30. And so then I was just messing around on my Xbox, fully not intending to stay up and play Dead Cells. Just fooling around on my Xbox, just cleaning up some things and setting up updates to run overnight. And then, as I'm doing that, boop, the little toast pops up and says, Dead Cells installed. It's like, oh no. So I jumped in for about a half hour and started there. And you want to talk about it first?
No, go ahead.
Okay. So I had been hearing that Dead Cells was a Metroidvania. So I was very excited about it. And I don't know that I had heard too much about the roguelike aspect of it. And had I done the research, right, I think I would have known, because it's been out on Steam for a long time. But as the release was coming closer and closer, I kept hearing and seeing more about the roguelike aspect. And I started watching a little bit more of the trailers and gameplay, because I didn't want to spoil it. I knew this game was going to be special, and I just didn't want to see too much. And as we're getting closer to the release, I'm starting to get worried that this game is much more roguelike than it is Metroidvania. But I'm still going to try it.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, but so that was my getting into this game. Is it's a Metroidvania. I'm super excited, and then it's got a little bit of roguelike to it. And then as we get a little bit closer, no, it's got a lot of roguelike to it.
It's almost exclusively roguelike, yes, as far as I'm concerned.
And once you get into it, yes. And so I got into it, and I was like, oh no, this is not a Metroidvania. This is like straight up roguelike. And I think the balance in my mind is about 80-20. Roguelike, it's 80% roguelike DNA and about 20% Metroidvania DNA. And the way it gets that Metroidvania into it is basically traversal. So it's a roguelike, and as you play, you acquire weapons, you acquire skills, and you acquire stat bonuses. And in your run, those last until the end of the run. And once you die,
right,
everything goes away. And the only thing that you maintain are basically schematics that you've unlocked or put basically these dead cell resources towards. And so that kind of maintains your progress. Those are the things that maintain from run to run. And so I was just really worried, like, how does a Metroidvania work if everything goes away at the end of a run? It just doesn't. I just didn't see how it was going to work. And then they actually ended up pulling it off by, you get some more combat options, you get some more traversal options, and those stay with you. So being able to use one particular skill allows you to climb an area that you basically run by before, and you'd be like, oh, okay, so now this opens up a pathway. This opens up the backtracking and allows you to go on a different path through the levels. Now you get into an area that you didn't have access until you had progressed farther along on a different level to get that ability. And so then I was like, okay, this is the Metroidvania, and also it basically differentiates itself from other roguelikes like, say, Bard's Gold or Spelunky or Rogue Legacy, for instance. Those games are roguelikes, but the combat in them is very different. It's very platformy, like jump, attack, and it's not very dynamic. The fighting and the combat in Dead Cells is that's really where the Metroid DNA shows up again. And also, I was getting Guacamelee, flashbacks as well because of the roll move.
I can see that.
Yeah, dodging out with the roll and coming in with the attack, and then the slam, and then the forward.
Do a couple combos.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Get in, get out, get in, get out. Run away, run away.
A lot more range in this one, though.
Yes. This game is all about knowing your enemies and who to take out first, and knowing when to run, when to stay, and kind of balancing that risk reward. I lost a lot of cells very early on, thinking that I could, I'll push it just a little bit more, and just that, yeah. And when you lose it, which I do, it really hurt.
What's the most you've lost on one of your runs?
They keep track of that. That is a stat.
Oh, they do?
So when you first start in the first area, you go up and you talk to the guy who's basically writing everything down.
The bookkeeper.
He keeps all sorts of stats. And I didn't realize that until today, actually, when I was going through. That is one of the stats to keep track of. I don't have it open. I could get that number for you, but it's not too bad. I have not gotten the achievement for 100. If you lose 100 cells in one life, then that's an achievement. I think it was probably... Well, I can tell you, I think it was at 80. I was not intending to go for the achievement, but I just had a good run. I didn't see anything worth spending them on, and I think I was up to about 80 when I died, and that hurt because I was like, oh,
that's a lot.
I could have gotten 100, right? I wasn't going to win, but I could have gotten 100. I could have gotten that done now away.
I think I'm the most. I think I had 32 at one point. That was before I unlocked the ability to bank them. Because now that I pass that one point and you've got the blacksmith available, and now it's like, oh, okay, well that's where your cells go when you don't want to get any loot or whatever. But there's gonna be a grind to that. I mean, that's pretty significant, the amount of cells that you have to put in to get those things going. But yeah, I'm kind of at a conundrum because I think TA doesn't have it listed as a Metroidvania right now. That genre hasn't been added, and I'm, I initially thought that was going to be part of this month's contest, but now that it's off there and playing it is so much more roguelike than it is Metroidvania, it's like, oh boy, do I even count it for the contest here? But I probably still will. We'll see. We have all month to do it, but so I've seen you have significantly more achievements than I have. Do you know how many hours you put into it?
I think there's a stat for that. I'll look that up if you want to keep talking.
So I've kind of finally just got into a groove because I was doing the same thing you were, where it's like, oh, I got this sword, I should just run in and just smash into these guys and just start wailing on them, and then hopefully I can gain some life down the road or make it through this area and not being relatively careless with my runs, and so then I'd get like low health, or even there was one run, man, I had an awesome run. It was so good. It was after I beat the concierge. I had this awesome exotic weapon, and I was just killing it, and I found a cursed chest, and they're like, all right, you got to take out 10 enemies without getting hit. I was like, oh, that's going to be a pain, but I think I can do it because my ranged traps are super good. And so I think I'll be in good shape here. And so I threw the spike trap out there, and it killed one of those muckhead guys with the this brain-eating slugs on them. And when you kill that guy, 6 slugs come out, and they're super low health. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be perfect because now my trap can just take those things out, and I'll have this curse broken. And so I was standing there because you got to be close enough to the trap to make sure it activates. And so it's blasting these dudes. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be great. Curse is almost broken, and one of those stupid worms teleported right behind me and one hit killed me. Because that's what the curse is. You get one hit killed, and I was like, no. That was like by far my best run. And I got wrecked. But now that and after that too, you also unlock the daily challenges that you can go and do. And so I did the first one, which is fun. I haven't done more than that. What do you get when you do each daily challenge? Is that boost. Like, I was confused about why I would continue to do those.
Right. So Skeptical Mario looked this up for me on the wiki as we were talking about it. The first time you beat the daily challenge, number one, you get an achievement. Number two, you get a rare schematic, and I think it's for the Swift Sword. Which I think is a yellow. I'm not positive. I don't recall. But you get that schematic, and then you can basically unlock that. Then you get a message that says, next reward at, I think, 5 completions or 4 completions. So then I was like, that's interesting. Because when I first jumped into the game, I was like, all right, let me check out dailies. I hadn't progressed too far. I basically just unlocked dailies and gotten a little bit farther. Went back in and just got rolled. Like, I could not get by. And I don't know if it was a tough day or I just didn't understand. And of course, when you go into the dailies, number one, you're seeing weapons, you're seeing skills that you may have not seen before. It's pulling them from the full list. So it does not pull from what you've unlocked or what you've seen before. So I'm going in there and seeing things I've never seen. I'm seeing enemy types that I've never seen before. I haven't gotten to their level, the stage where they appear. So everything's brand new, and I'm just getting rolled. Come a little bit more experience with the game, and understanding. Oh, okay. Well, I have 4 minutes to get this done. Right? Maybe 5.
Yep.
You're not going to fight everything. This is not get their cells, use the cells to upgrade. You can't actually trade in weapons for gold like you can when you get the that skill unlocked to allow you to do that. So basically, this is about find what's there that works for you. Skip as many fights as you can skip with as much health as you can to get to the concierge at the very end and kill him. Seems, from what I've seen, he's the only end boss. Maybe they'll change that at some point, but right now he's the only guy I've been fighting.
Have you fought other bosses in the game?
I think so, right? Because you have to get the seals. And the seals are bosses, but they're not unique bosses. I did fight a unique boss in the clock tower or the other clock. There's 2 different clock areas. I think both of them have a unique boss. I fought the guy that looks like he's holding, the blades from a clock face. It looks like he's using those as swords. So I beat him the first time there, and I have not seen him show up in the dailies. So I really think it's the concierge. I think they do that so that for the time constraints. They want to keep it the same, and he's got a reduced move set as well. He's not as tough.
Oh yeah,
he's not as tough as the actual concierge. He's kind of a light version. So I've been starting a little project where I go, and for the past 2 or 3 days now, and I'm going to keep it up for a little bit. Certainly to the 10-day mark, or the 10 completions mark for myself. And I've been streaming my attempts, going through the daily and basically just mapping out as much as I can see of the level, just to identify where the weapons are, and, to help myself, but also to help, the 6 or 8 people that may know about my Mixer stream that may be interested in watching, that could go in there as well and sort of see, okay, well, this is the path he took. These are the weapons he took.
Right.
This is how bad he stinks at it, and I get it done like a minute faster. And I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. I'm not saying I'm good at the game. I'm just saying I really enjoy the game. But that's something I've been working on, and I'm kind of looking forward to going and doing tonight, because B. Smiddle said it's a tougher one, and I actually, I went ahead and I bought the Steam version because I love this game so much, and it was on sale, and they had a package where if you bought the game, you could also get the original soundtrack, and I think it was still less than the price of the full game. So I went ahead and I did that, basically to get the original soundtrack, but also to be able to play it. When I go to the beach or something, I can take this and I'll take my Xbox. I can basically have a fun game that I know I enjoy playing that isn't too bad. So I actually tried it on the Steam version, and I was able to knock that level out. So I think I'm not going to have too much of a problem streaming it later.
Cool. Can I ask you guys a question? Since
let's hear it.
I haven't played the game at all. I was going through here on my computer, and I was reading a review of the game on IGN, and it suddenly disappeared. So, are you telling me this is a good game?
Well, do you know why that review disappeared?
No, yeah.
Okay.
I'm aware, but I suppose we should tell people. I guess we could talk about it if you wanted to, but it seems to be all over the place now.
Yeah. Well, yeah. The reason it disappeared was some sort of plagiarism issue, but not really related to the game. So what was your original question? Sorry.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. I mean, you guys, you've been talking about mechanics and all this sorts of stuff, but how much are you think it's fantastic, right? You guys are loving it?
I love it. Yeah, it's super fun. But so you do have to like roguelites. Yes. Like, if you don't like that idea of dying all the time and starting over each time, like, and it's that micro progression. Like, so you see every run you make, you can see this tiny little ticker go. You know, these cells that you are investing in your character and unlocking equipment and doing these mutations and upgrades, and they're very slow going into it. And really, your abilities and what you have, like, you're not starting so inept at the beginning. Like, you could really, you're not doing as much damage or anything, but the items you pick up along the way are what gets you better. And so it really has nothing to do with what you start with. It can make your starting a little faster. And what weapons you do end up finding can be much better down the road. And so, like, you just start to really see how this, it's like a snowball on a mountain, and as it rolls, it continues to pick up momentum. And so as you get all this like awesome gear and stuff, like, you start to feel super powerful. And the fact that the combat is so fast and fluid and it's really slick, and like the movement, your guy is fast. And so, it just feels, I mean, it feels like a solid platformer. Like, and I'm not going to draw the comparisons per se to like Rayman with how fluid and smooth that platforming is, but like, you look at a game like Bard's Gold or like Mario or like those old, just kind of clunky platforming stuff is so far from that. This is slick. It's fluid. It's smooth. The combat adds a beautiful addition to it. And then, there's multiple paths with each run, so you in like the first area, there's 2 different doors you can go through once you unlock, your first rune. And then from there, you maybe come to another branching path, and you can just kind of keep getting deeper and deeper into it. And so I don't even know where this ends up going. I've probably only seen the first 5 or 6 rooms. You get an achievement every time you get to a new room. And so, like, I still have tons of those achievements left. I only got 11 achievements so far. So I got a ton of time in front of me. I'm going to have to try and back off just a little bit so I can get some other stuff done this month. But, it's one of those things where it's, like, so fast to just pick up and play for 15, 20 minutes. And the checkpointing is great. So, like, if you just take off, you pretty much start right where whatever teleporter you just left off, you can kind of leave and come back to, or at least I've noticed. I don't know.
It's not even teleporter. It's wherever you are in the level. Like, so I've been on a ledge, and then I'm like, I have to go, pick up my daughter or help with this, and I shut it down and I come back in. I'm on that same ledge. I don't have to restart the level. I haven't really lost anything. Unfortunately, you can't use that to your advantage, where if you get you make a mistake and you get like face rolled and lose half your health, you can't use that to your advantage to basically start that area over again. But yeah, the checkpointing is fantastic.
Yeah, it's just super fun. So yeah, Prue, I highly recommend this game. It's just great.
Yeah, I mean, if this is something that you're interested in, I mean, if you like roguelikes, if you like combat, fluid combat, then you're really going to like this. If you don't like spicy food, I'm not going to tell you to go to this Thai restaurant and get the number 3 spicy, right? But I will say, go there and get go get the soup. It's really good, and the spring roll's good. But if you like roguelikes, and if you like the combat of Guacamelee, and you like the art style of maybe like a Flashback or something like that, then this is really, it's special. This is a special game, I feel. And it's not for everyone. I don't even know if I'm going to get 100%. I don't think I have the skill level to maybe get 100%, but I'm going to milk everything I can out of it. And it is definitely a fun game to go back to.
Yep, absolutely. So, I mean, that was really the just what I wanted to talk about today. I'm pumped to go back and play some more of it. I can't wait. But I do have I have some other things I need to get done for What the Fugs gamer tag for the month. There's lots of letters in there that I'm not getting done with D. So I need to expand my world a little bit. You guys got anything else on your mind? Anything else that has been going on this week that you want to talk about?
Well, for me, one of the things I've just kind of been doing, I don't know if other people have been joining me. I think Beast Middle has a little bit. Is the free play weekends. I've really,
that's right.
I've really been enjoying when the free play weekends happen, and then just kind of grabbing that game. I'm not a completionist, so if you're a completionist, maybe this won't work for you. But I've just really been enjoying taking those games, starting them early, maybe on Thursday or Friday, and just putting as much into them as I can, and trying to squeeze them for as much as I can. This past week has been Onrush, and that's a fun game. Now, I think it sells for $50 full price, and I think the sale price is $30, and even that is too high for what you're going to get out of the game. But it is a fun game, and I think it probably has a lot. It shares a lot of kind of like the mechanics and the systems of, like, say, what is the Blizzard game that I want to start that I haven't started?
The Blizzard game?
The Blizzard game on the Xbox.
Overwatch?
Thank you. Yeah, I think it shares a lot with Overwatch in terms of at the end of the match, how they. I think they basically stole a lot of those. The loot crates, and also like the reward system. Oh, you did great in this category and in this category, and they've got dances and things. So I think it lifts from those sorts of systems, and it is fun. But I don't think it's $30 fun, and definitely not $50 fun. I would do this for 10 or 15. And if you could get some friends in there, I think you'd have a great time just kind of laughing at each other, smashing them off a cliff, dropping on them. It is a fun game, and so that's something I've been enjoying lately, and I would love it if other people got into that, and we had a crew to kind of try to bang these things out when good ones come along.
Yeah, did you guys do a review of Onrush?
I don't think so. No,
I don't think so.
That doesn't sound familiar. Yeah.
It's a racing game. Kind of. So, you're effectively racing cars like a kart racer. Can think of Mario Kart or something, or like a Rocket League style car. You're driving around a course, but the object of the game is to smash and destroy the other cars. So you actually don't want to be first. You kind of want to be in the mix. Now, there's different game modes, but that's one of them where you're trying to be last man standing by destroying the other cars. So, like, you can go off a jump and then hit a button and, like, boost down and smash onto a guy, or ram them from behind, or do these other things to, like, take them out. There's another game mode where there's, like, these gates, and they add time to your team. And so if you keep hitting the gates, as the timer goes down, you keep your time alive while the other team's continues to go down. And so... But if you're the first one, the gate's really small, and then after everyone, as people go through it, the gate gets wider and wider, so the people in the back have a better opportunity of going through the gates and stuff. So it's a vehicular combat game in the guise of a circular kart racer.
So it's more like Mario Kart meets Overwatch.
Sure.
Yeah. And each class of car has a special ability, and also an ability they can give to neighboring cars when you're boosting. They also have a King of the Hill mode, which is kind of fun because it's a moving King of the Hill. It's basically a circle that moves with you. You're basically running endless laps on each particular level. And so if you get behind, it rubber bands you to the front. So it pulls you back into the pack if you really suck, or you really get far behind, or you didn't want to run into that wall. You wanted to keep yourself alive, but now you're really far behind. So it basically just warps you to the back of the pack, and you kind of keep going. It's a fun game, but at the price, I think not.
I do think the price is a little too steep as well. But I watched some gameplay of it and stuff, and I was like, man, yeah, this. Pretty darn cool.
And you can idle some of the stuff if you really don't want to play it. So, like, right now I've been idling for several hours to try to just get XP to get my levels up, because at every level you get a loot box, and that loot box has 3 items in it, and there's an achievement for 250 items, and I don't think they count duplicates. So I'm hopefully have gained a lot of levels and a lot of loot boxes, and I can just pop those all at one time and kind of maybe get that achievement out of the way. I think I'm going to be 3 or 4 short by Monday, but I'm okay with that.
Sure.
How far did you get in Tekken Weekend last
Tekken Weekend, I slammed out. Got it completely done. Yeah, that was fun. See, I've really been enjoying these free play weekends, and I would encourage other people to maybe check it out. It's a lot of fun. And also, the more people that do it, the easier it is to get the online components done.
Yeah, that's true. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. Prue, I'm surprised you didn't talk about the giant news in your world about Captain Jean-Luc Picard coming back into action.
Oh, boy. It is. This is massive news, and I guess since you're bringing it up, I'll talk about it. Captain Jean-Luc Picard, Patrick Stewart from Star Trek The Next Generation, returning to the role after almost 30 years of absence now. Which is fantastic. And also a little nerve-wracking because I don't necessarily trust the people that are running the show over at CBS to do everything right, but we'll see. But yeah, no, in fact, at first when you started talking Freem, I thought you were talking about Smash. But yeah, no, big things happening in Star Trek right now, and very exciting stuff. So if you're a fan at all, or even a fan of science fiction, strap in, because I think the next few years are going to be pretty big.
So is this it's a brand new show?
So,
is that what I'm to understand?
So what's happening now is that Star Trek Discovery, the most recent series, performed well enough on CBS All Access, their streaming platform, that the head of CBS said, what we want to, because I think what happened, I'm almost pretty positive this is what happened. A lot of people, including myself, subscribed to CBS All Access as soon as Star Trek Discovery started and canceled their subscription as soon as Star Trek Discovery ended. So they got the impression that, Star Trek fans are pretty rabid and they're pretty interested in the content that we put out. We are now planning on putting out content all year round, brand new content all year round. Because if you slap Star Trek on a name, we're probably going to pay money for it. So this Picard thing is, I think, the first in a series of stuff that they want to do. They basically come out and said, we're going to have content all the time for you now. So you never will cancel our streaming service, essentially.
Gotcha.
So we'll see how it goes. That goodwill only goes so far. We'll see.
Sure. Cool. Awesome. I think that might be it for the show this week. You guys have anything else you wanna touch on? We kind of hit those last ones there. You guys have anything fun that you're planning to do here?
So the Gamertag Challenge is What the Fug, and Fufu was ribbing. Fufu Cuddly Poof was ribbing Fug on Discord, saying that I think he roped Prue into it as well. He says, Prue, I'm only doing backwards compatible games for Fug. I think as a part of an old joke, and also Fug doesn't like firing up his 360, I believe. So I have accepted that challenge, and I invite anyone else that does Gamertag to also do the BC challenge. Only backwards compatible.
Challenge.
So I had my plan for the Gamertag challenge, and they were all dead cells, and I've had to cut that back because that is not even a valid letter. But so I had picked out a whole other set, and then Fufu laid that out there, and I thought that was hilarious. So I had to revise my game plan, and I haven't touched a single game because of dead cells and the other things that we've been boosting on Rush this weekend. But I would say, hey, try that. That sounds fun.
The other thing is keep your eyes peeled at TrueAchievements.com. There is an announcement coming up here in the near future that is a contest you might be interested in. So just throwing that out there. The other contest that I pitched, I mentioned a while ago that I pitched, Rich loves. So it's got some development work behind it, but hopefully we'll get that going here at some point. But this is something that the community likes. So it might be up your alley as well. So TrueAchievements.com is going to have a new contest announced soon, and it's starting pretty darn soon because school's starting soon. And that's pretty scary for my kids. got back to school stuff, but man,
I just realized the other day, I looked at the calendar and I'm like, it's almost halfway through August. Where did summer go, man? It's weird.
Yeah, my my mother-in-law retired this year. She retired in like March, maybe. I don't remember when her last day was. But anyway, so we were coming down to see her this weekend, and so a couple weeks ago we were talking to her and stuff, and I heard my wife say, "Well, like I don't know if my sister's going down. I don't know who's going to watch the kids. Maybe we'll just come down early, or she'll take them." And my mother-in-law was like, "Well, what are you going to do about school?" my wife's like, "Well, it's July, so there is no school."
Oh, man.
And my mother-in-law's just, "Oh my God, when you don't work, I don't even know what time it is. I don't even know what month it is." It's like, "Oh, I very much know." Because traffic's going to get real bad once all these clowns have to go back to school. And, weather's I can already tell it's getting darker. I don't like that. I used to be bright till 9 p.m. and now it's dark at 8. That sucks.
Yep.
But anyway, it'll be nice to get these kids out of here, back into some sort of routine. They're staying up too late now, cutting into my video game time, if any. I think that's all I wanted to say. So yeah, awesome. Well, Koosh, thanks for joining us, helping us record a show tonight. Peru, I appreciate you pushing it off a day so we could get on here together. It's great, and so I want to thank also everyone for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It's been fun, and I hope you continue listening. If you guys want to help us out, spread the word. That would be great. We could always use new listeners. We could always use new people in our community, which is over at Discord, discord.io/Z2Z. There's a community over there that is more than willing to talk and chat and game. There's lots going on with the LFGs. I know Koosh is looking for people to play free-to-play weekends with, so there's a great opportunity right there as well. And of course, I mentioned all the places you can catch us at the front end of the show: Twitter @Z2Z, email contact@Z2Z.com. And if you're interested in any of these contests, forum.Z2Z.com. So again, thanks everyone for listening, for being a part of the show. On behalf of Koosh and Peru, this has been Brandon, and to all of you achievement hunters and Gamerscore junkies out there, thank you so much for listening, and we'll catch you next episode.